My name is Peachie Thompson, and I am the owner and founder of Peach Insurance Services. We are based out of Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, and we serve financial planners like you and your clients nationwide. I know how difficult it is to find an insurance partner. That's why I'm sending you this video. I want to share with you a little bit about me and why I founded Peach Insurance Services. I'm a first generation immigrant from the Philippines. My dad and I came here in the 90s, and I was lucky enough to get a job in underwriting for a big insurance company. There, I was trained all the technical aspects of underwriting for life insurance, long term care, disability insurance. Since then, I have been in the brokerage world as well as the career world, helping financial planners, financial advisors, brokers, agents, career agents, name it. What really solidified my resolve to stay in the industry for now 28 years are two things. First, when my grandma, who was 65 at that time, tripped and hurt her hip. She needed a hip replacement and eventually long-term care services. So she was very young. She went from being this strong, independent woman to all of a sudden needing care. And in the Philippines, there's no such thing as long-term care. Your family is your long-term care. So the burden of care basically fell on my mom and my sisters and my siblings who were there in the Philippines at that time. So there's two things there. The first one was to pay for the long-term care needs and then the funeral expenses because she ultimately passed. That was passed on to us. I remember draining my savings account so that we could pay for all the long-term care services as well as the funeral expenses to give her a proper burial, as well as to pay off all the debts that were accumulated, mostly all the medical bills. I remember thinking that wow, it would have been so much different for me if my grandma had long-term care insurance. Not that I regret writing that check, but imagine being a first generation immigrant going to a country that you don't know anything about, going to work during the day, and then going to school at night and then saving all this money and all of a sudden now because your culture dictates that this is what you must do, and not only that, it's the right thing to do from my perspective. Now it would have been very different if she had long-term care insurance because the insurance would have paid for everything, if not everything, most of it. As a fee-only planner, you'll appreciate this. So you know that I'm a first-generation immigrant. So my dad and I immigrated here. He was sold an insurance policy that he thought was for the rest of his life. 20 years later, I founded Peach Insurance Services. He comes to me and he was really confused. He looks at me and says, "There's something wrong with my life insurance." He's been paying into this insurance policy for 20 years by that time. He thought that he would have cash value so that he can take some money out. And the worst part was that it suddenly demanded sky-high premiums while cutting his death benefit to almost nothing after 20 years. That he was misled by that MLM insurance agent. When I confronted that agent, who's now, by the way, very successful RVP, still collecting commissions for the investments that she sold him. Anyway, her hostile response almost strengthened my resolve to help others avoid similar situations. I put together Peach Insurance Services because I wanted a partner, the kind of firm that I wish my family had. Now at Peach Insurance Services, I bring my personal understanding to every conversation about life, long-term care, disability insurance, and annuities. I'm not one to use industry jargons or complicated terms. I simply help families and fee-only planners help their clients use insurance as a tool to protect what matters most. Because I've been on the other side watching savings disappear, seeing loved ones confused, that could have been prevented with honest guidance and proper coverage, I am here to stay.